Okay, so just get this one out of the way. Again, tests. Oh, late. I still don't see a quiz 9 out of you. Is that the one that did you start that?
No,
I got no quiz 9.
I think I was gone that day when we got the quiz and I haven't got the review yet.
Well, you got 8 days.
Okay.
Dude. Okay. All right, so just if you have any missing tests, I am going to plug those in real quick, probably over lunch. I do have all the tests graded, or at least the ones that I had this past weekend. If you turned it in on Monday, I don't have it in yet. But yes, I will have the last test in. So if you are missing any tests, that is your number one priority. You need to get that done. Okay? Packets. If you are missing an entire packet, turn it in. If you got your packet back and it was highlighted like crazy, fill it in. Do stuff, okay? I will give you credit for anything that you go back and do for real. Again, you go find those videos and half the time we're walking through all of it anyway. And you got myself, you got 6 other math teachers here, you got our whole SVED staff, you got folks that can help you through if I'm not in the building. I say that because our cluster continues. I just want you all to know this. So, how we get the short version here. Last week I went down with super rapid onset of symptoms, perfectly fine, to passed out on the floor and puking within like 45 minutes. I was out Wednesday afternoon, Thursday, basically just laid in bed, fevered hallucinations for a day and a half. I white-knuckled it through Friday. It didn't go very well. I don't remember most of the day. I passed out by 7:30 that night. This weekend, Mama Bear went down. That's why I had to leave in a hurry on Monday, is she was really struggling, and Goblin 2 is also not doing so hot. So it's just wham, 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 right? In the midst of that, I already had yesterday off because I had multiple meetings already scheduled. I am gone this afternoon. For anyone who's planning on doing tests during Spartan time or something like that, you need to let me know, like, meow, so I can have that set aside. I am gone this afternoon for Baby Bear has a doctor appointment. And I have a meeting over at Mountain View. Tomorrow afternoon, I am briefly gone again because my wife has a follow-up appointment. I just got the call last night. Grandpa, 80th birthday on Monday, in the hospital. And Grandpa is basically my dad. So there's a lot going on right now. It's just like hard to describe without the word cluster. I'm just letting you all know this because I want to be upfront about I got a short fuse. I'm frazzled. I'm not getting sleep. Everything's happening at once. I don't want to take it out on any of you, but if something just goes twisted the wrong direction, the facade will crack. Okay? Did you get through, you all said you got through the first part of the review, the first page, front and back, chapter 3, did you get all of that done last week?
Yeah.
And you said you felt okay about it?
Yeah.
Okay, I know it was an old video, but it's the same stuff. If we felt okay about it, then today we go through the chapter 4 stuff, which is more recent anyway, should be fresh in our heads, and it should be game on for Friday. Remember, right? Yeah. Friday, we will do our final in here. If anyone does not have the reviews, they are up here. If anyone was gone for some reason, didn't pick it up, need to work on those organizational skills, Mr. Bright. Okay, so we'll finish off chapter 4 review. Again, write every bit of notes that you can on here because it's going to look the exact same, but I'll tell you the final is half the size. Like there's 2 problems on here because it's I want to practice this. There's only one of those problems on the final. That's why it's number 1 and then there's 2 problems. Okay? Your final is 1 piece of paper, front and back. Like 15 questions. Yeah. This is supposed to be low stress in here. My goal is to get you your credit. Okay? It's not to trip you up. It's not to gotcha. It's please just show up, pick up the pencil, do something with me, and yay, you have no more math to do. You win. Because I know most of you, this is it, right? It's this and then business math next year, and done. If some of you are going on to geometry, great, you'll have what you need. If some of you are going to take the path of screw it, I got this, and go take Algebra 1 regular and geometry next year, use a warrior. Okay? So, the goal is to do our final on Friday. Tuesday, FUBAR Day. And I mean FUBAR Day as in, if your grade after Friday is not where you want it, you have that day to get your poop in a group. Okay? What we are willing to let you do to get that poop in said group, it kind of depends on what you've done all year long and all semester. Okay? It's all about the relationship. Then, on Wednesday, the 24th, you look in the green back there by Jasper's head. That is our final schedule. Sorry, I just like turn everyone and stare at you. That's our final schedule. On Maroon 2, if you are satisfied with your grade, and you have already come and had me check that sheet off for you, I ain't looking for you. Okay? You don't need to show up if you already have me signed off and done. Okay? So, as the fat Italian plumber says, here we go. Here we go. Classify by number of terms and state the degree. This is when we began chapter 4 and it was all about vocab. Do you have your chapter 4 packet? As in, did you turn it in when you were supposed to and got it turned back to you already? 4A. This will be the 4A packet, section 4.1. If not, do you have that cute little note card? Some of us wrote this stuff out on a note card. Remember, it was degree and terms. Zero, 1, 2, 3. Remember, there's a cute little chart for it. That's just defining our vocabulary. If you're going by degree, then everything that has a degree 0 is called a constant. If it has a degree 1, like x, just plain old x to the first, right? We call that linear. Remember, these were the special names. Degree 2 was quadratic. Degree 3 is cubic. Degree 4 was quartic. Did I have y'all right quintic, or did we just 5 and up was degree 5? Degree n, okay. That's what I thought, but I had to double check. And then with degree 5 and bigger, we're just going to say degree n. Now, got to make this clear. When I say degree n is a number. Don't put degree n as your answer. Like if the degree was 9, I had someone write degree n. Okay? It's degree 9 if it's a degree 9. It's just after 4, we kind of stop caring about special names and we just say it's a degree 5, it's a degree 6, it's a degree 7. Okay? So the first one's got special names, everything after that, not so much. By terms, those ones will be a little bit easier because they're all something nomials. Now, first up, you can't have a zero-term thing. That's literally a blank space, a blank problem. There's nothing there. But if I have a term, it's mononomial, so we call it monomial. Remember those? What's 2? Binomial. 3? Trinomial. And with 4 and more, I could say a quadrinomial, a pentanomial, a hexanomial. I can keep giving it all of these Latin prefixes, or from 4 and onward, we just say polynomial. Okay. So you should have that chart somewhere in your notes. Not just will this be on YouTube, this is in YouTube. That question and the puppy chow in your mouth as you asked it are now being broadcast live. Yes, it is, ma'am. So, yeah, kids don't realize exactly how much gets picked up on the mic sometimes. Some of your conversations that end up broadcast out into the world. Mm-hmm. So, if you got this chart, you should be good to go. The first thing you got to do, look at you. Find your terms. Terms are found by every time I see a plus or a minus. Choppity, choppity, put them in boxes. Now, before I go naming it, I got to make sure it's cleaned up and I can see what I'm actually dealing with. Are any of those terms like terms? Can I put any of them together? You got to be careful about that. Sometimes you're going to have a little trick question where maybe it'll be like this, 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 and then at the end it'll say plus 5x cubed. Well, it would look like it's 4 terms, but this one and this one can go together, so it's supposed to be 3 terms. Okay, so you got to be careful about it. Make sure that you see where your terms are, and hold on. I heard like 4 things at once and I'm tired. By degree, I want you to put next to this, if you wrote that little chart down, the biggest exponent. Remember, the degree of it, you're looking for the big dog. Sometimes the big dog is hiding in the middle of the expression. What is the biggest exponent up here? 4. It's not always the first term. Sometimes they put them out of order. So since it was a degree 4, it's a quartic. And because there's 3 terms, it's a trinomial. So that's exactly what I write. It's a quartic trinomial. That's it. That's my answer. The chart is just the notes. Is that a question?
Yes. Do we put the parentheses?
No, I'm just writing that because I've got a bunch of other crap up here. So you understand that's the answer. Quartic trinomial, that's the answer. The chart is just the notes for this problem. Because, I say this every year, so it was probably in the video you guys watched for part A, you could just really lock it in right now during the review for the final, do well enough on the final that maybe that's what gets you across the finish line. Okay? Gets you to your first A or B, gets you your credit, gets you out of Spartan time next fall. Whatever it is your goal is. Yeah. If I have a degree 5 or bigger, I'll say degree 5. Degree N. Meaning, if the degree is 5, I'll just say it's a degree 5. Huh. That's because that is an N. Why? Y'all, I'm tired. Okay, yeah, it's degree. Or I wonder if I started like this and did I erase part of the bottom? Anyway, I did one, you do one. You got the chart there. Do it again. But are they like terms? Do they have the same variables and the same exponents? But the other one's a G3H. Oh, that's why we chop it up in those boxes. Every time you run to plus or minus, you chop it up in the boxes. Okay? Yeah.
I do it.
Yes, no-ish, because
But like, I thought it was
like
the
yeah,
biggest one.
yeah, that is the biggest exponent, but see how there's an H with it. Do you remember what we do when they're smashed together like this? Uh-huh. That's what makes it a 4 instead of a 3.
So the only time I do that is just
If you've got more than one variable smashed together. Yep.
Yeah, do it.
Same thing. Talk to Marcus.
Like when it's usually this would be the biggest. Because of the one.
Uh-huh. So together,
It'd be 4.
yes.
Wait, so this would be 4.
There's that invisible one. Polynomial, yes. So 3 plus 1 is 4, is 2, is 3, is 0. Who's the big dog? So degree 4 is quartic. You got this offset.
Yeah.
Okay, put quartic in the 4 box. And then from 5 and below, we just say degree N. Uh-huh. Because it's an invisible one.
So I was just wondering if we
So,
had that together.
yes, you do. That's how when there's multiple variables, you put them together. Okay, are we remembering the ancient ways? Chop, chop, chop. Okay, so first, addressing Leighton's question, I see a g to the third and a g to the third. Can I put those together? What are like terms? Like, what's the rules? Same variables, same exponents on the same variables, right? Because like g to the third h squared and g squared h to the third are not the same thing. Okay? This has a g to the third with an h. So this is belt new and improved. Okay? They're not the same thing. So I can't put them together. Most of us were cool about there's 4 terms, so I call it a polynomial. But if I'm looking at degrees, I look at them individually. There's no variables here, so it's degree 0. Degree 3, degree 2. Careful, what is the degree here? 4. Because there's a little invisible 1 on that h, and I smash them together, they're multiplied together, so the total degree here is 4. So I need to call it a quartic polynomial. Yes, ma'am? Nope. As long as you got the 2 words there, I'm happy. I mean, if you want to go English on it, by putting ick at the end, this becomes a describer of the noun. This is an adjective, and this is a noun. So they should be in that order. I call this black pen, not pen black.
It's the same thing, just like in caveman language.
Yes. I have that game. It's an entire game where you got to get the other team to guess the word on your card, but you can only use single syllables. Thing on ground, hot. Cook food, red, burn when touch. You have to try to guess campfire. Okay? Yeah, it's like caveman language when you start messing around with it like that. Okay, speaking of simplifying, like terms, here we go. We started adding and subtracting polynomials. And before I go looking for like terms, does anyone remember what the big gotcha was about this because I'm subtracting? Say it loud and proud. Distribute that -1. Negative 7x squared plus 16x minus 2. Because I'm subtracting this whole group, I'm applying the negative to the whole group. It's going to be safer if you just distribute the -1 in there to begin with. Then, every time you run into a plus or minus, chop it up. Chop, 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 chop. I forget who it was. Maybe Maddie in the other class? I had someone who, even when this says plus, they would put a +1 there, distribute a +1, just so they remembered to distribute every time. Even though it was kind of redundant, they would just, 1 times the thing is the thing. But they distribute that +1 just like the -1, so they remembered to just do that every time. I thought that was pretty clever. So start with, we always want the big dog up front. Where is my biggest term? My biggest degree term? X to the what? Second. So Do I have any other x squareds? So 3 things minus 7 things. Negative 4 things. Okay, so this and this went together. Remember, as you're doing these, it's a good idea to kind of scribble them out, not so don't murder your paper so we can't tell what your original work was. I want to give you credit for your work. I can't do that if there's just a pool of graphite on your paper. Okay, then what's the next color? There we go. Do I have any other X's? You owe me $9, you give me $16. I'm up $7. And if you're gonna highlight them, if you're gonna cross them out like this, something to say I am done with those terms. I don't need to use them again. And then 15 and negative 2. Oh, that's really tiny. Hold on. Okay. What if at the very, very, very end of this, I also saw a plus 5x cubed? What if there was more? They just get tacked on the end, right? So in that case, it was the biggest one, so it would go out front. If that happens, if you have something that doesn't have a like term to go with, well, the cheese stands alone. Okay? I'm just going to hang out over there. So whether you are distributing a negative 1 or just rolling with it as is, I do some, you do some. Go! To be like terms, they have to have the same variables and the same exponents on the same variables. There's shortages everywhere right now. It's nasty.
If you only distribute, if you have a minus, you have a 1.
Right. I was saying, I've seen a kid put a positive 1 there just to tell themselves, I always distribute, but it's not going to change it, is it? So you can just run with it as is. Is there?
So we do put a 1? Or is that just, like you said, the trace? To show
the
distribution?
It's just to show the distribution, but if I distribute a positive 1, ain't going to change it.
Yeah.
So you can just run with it as is right now.
Okay.
But if you want to put the 1 there to just remind yourself, I always do this, it's what makes sense for you.
All right.
Okay? You guys?
So I kind of did. Would it still be negative 1 and 42? Or did I mess up?
Correct. The exponents don't change. You're saying 2 waffles minus 3 waffles
Waffle.
is negative 1 waffle.
Okay. Does that just like right like this?
Looks fine to me. I wouldn't put the 1 there though. Right? Invisa 1. If you really, really want to simplify stuff, you use the Invisa 1.
So these two go together.
Uh-huh.
So it'd just be 1M because these kind of cancel out. Right?
No.
Or
This is saying 2 Ninja Turtles minus 3 Ninja Turtles. What's just 2 minus 3?
1. Oh wait, negative 1.
So negative 1 Ninja Turtles.
Okay. So we just bring everything.
The m to the 4th n squared stays there.
Okay.
That's just its name. Okay, next to these ones, next to number 10, I would recommend, if you get caught on this stuff, write yourself a note that Exponents don't change when you add and subtract. Exponents don't change when you add or subtract. So 2m to the fourth n squared plus 3 third n minus 3. Chop, chop, chop. Okay. When I say, when I say 2 things minus 3 things, I'm still talking about that thing. If I say 2 sandwiches minus 3 sandwiches, I don't have -1 cantaloupes. Okay? It doesn't like magically change partway through. So just look at their coefficients. Just look at the numbers. 2 things minus 3 things is -1 things. Things was m to the fourth n squared. Okay? I'm not done yet, because I just got after some folks about this. 3 things minus 2 things. If they're the same thing, they can go together. They are like terms. 3 things minus 2 things is 1 thing. That thing hasn't changed. It's still m cubed n. This is not the answer, because the directions say simplify. And when we simplify things, we use ones, our invisible ones. We don't need to write those ones. So it's negative m to the fourth n squared plus m to the third n. Okay, ones. Don't try to combine these right now. I know they look kind of the same, but if you tried to add these two together, they are not like terms. They're similar, but that would be like trying to mate your house cat with a mountain lion. Okay, they might look kind of similar, but that ain't gonna go very well for one of them. Okay? So just leave it like that. They're done. You ever hear cats outside at like 2 in the morning? Like, dang. All right. 11. Multiplying binomials, you got a choice. We did these a bunch of different ways, right? Some of us liked the spaghetti monster, where we said 8x times 3x, 24x squared. And then we'd 8x by 5 was plus 40x. And then a -3 by 3x is a -9x. And a -3 by 5 is -15. Do we have any like terms, any critters that go together? Okay, so what is 40 things minus 9 things? So call it 31 things. These two are still the same. And that's it, it's done. Okay, because those two are like terms, I'm allowed to put them together. Now, this was one way we did it. I think most of us usually showed our work like this, but there's a few of us that really started gravitating towards that box method. Okay? Some of us, we go like this. womp, womp. And we'd say 8x minus 3, 3x plus 5. And then row by column, just like you're in biology. Punnett squares. 3x by 8x is 24x squared. 3x by negative 3 is negative 9x. 8x by 5 plus 40x. Negative 3 by 5 is negative 15. And then your like terms should be on the diagonals if you got this organized. I know some of us were a little leery of box method until I just kind of forced it on you a few times. And then you said, oh, hey, this actually ain't that bad. Because it keeps everything in nice, neat little rows and columns. It keeps things organized. Or do you remember first, outer, inner, last? FOIL? Yeah. That this is first, outer, inner, last. The first terms. The outer terms. The inner terms. The last terms. It's just a acronym that helps us with the order we distribute in. Okay, so most of us were pretty good with these. Just watch your signs. Check, check.
So, okay, I get to do with all this, but what do I do after this? Do I just have these two?
You missed the x here. 8 times 7x.
Oh, it's, yeah.
And now these two are like terms, so you can put them together.
Okay. Oh, so, oh, yeah, yeah.
48. Went on a date.
Do I have this set up?
Now, run away.
28x squared. Okay. And then you did negative 8x plus 56x. Oh, you missed your x here.
Because it still has x.
There you go. And then negative 6. Okay, now combine like terms.
Minus 16.
Okay, looks like it's going okay. Not a bad idea to also break these up so you get your signs right. Okay. Not a bad idea to multiply them together like this. And I don't know, I'll put this guy in the middle. We say 4x's by 7x's is 28x squared. 4x's by negative 2 is negative 8x. I saw a couple of us missing in the middle terms, missing our x's. Like, we wrote the multiplication correctly, but we missed the x entirely when we wrote our answer. If that happened, put a note next to it. You get to tell yourself, I mean, it's open notes, open everything for the final. Put a note next to this, like, don't forget x's on middle terms. Just tell yourself that. 8 by 7x is 50 6x. I saw some of us missing this one and this one. And then 8 by negative 2 is negative 16. Any of these critters go together? Yeah, they do. 28x squared and negative 16 are here, but these two are like terms. No, because negative 8 plus 56 is the same as 56 plus negative 8. Either way, it comes out as 48. Okay? And that's why I said, like, there's different ways to multiply this out. If you did box method, well, they're not going to be in that order because they're going to be kitty corner. Right? Just out of curiosity, was there anyone in here who did the old school stack multiplication? I know I showed that too. 4x and 8, 7x and negative 2. If I do negative 2 times 8, negative 2 times 4x, then I'd put 0 as a placeholder, 7x times 8, 7x times 4x, add like terms, except now they're lined up for you. Right? This is just like long digit multiplication. So, whatever your jam is. Okay. Then this is getting into the very recent stuff. Factor. Now, they're not going to say how to factor. They're not going to tell you what special method it might have. So the very first thing you should do with every one of these is get those factor trees going and find your GCF. Like, you should be doing that right away. Yep, get those factor trees on. What times what makes 80? Eight is 2 and 4. 4 is 2 and 2. 10 is 2 and 5. So I'll write that out as 2, 2, 2, 2, 5. Remember, only the ends of the branches. You, and you. Don't use the 4, 8, and 10. Additionally, we've got variables up there. X, X, Y. Contestant 2. Well, by what makes 48? Okay. 8 and 6, we already said 8 was 2 by 4, 2 by 2. 6 is? And again, anything at the ends of the branches. You. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 twos. And then an X and a Y. Be careful. What about that last one? It's negative. So what do? We split that negative 1 off and then break up 32. Because otherwise we're going to forget that negative. And then we're going to miss our sign on our final answer and we're going to feel silly. Okay? Well, by what makes 32? I heard an 8 and a 4, so I'm just going to run with that. And then 4 we said was 2 and 2. So again, only the ends of the branches. U, N, U, N, U, N, U, N, U, N, U. So it turns out this guy's actually got quite a bit in common. Whoa, that's huge. What do they have in common? Oh, hey, there's stuff. Yeah. You think you can do it? You're at 5. You think you can get there? I'm tired. What if I just remove the cap? Normally it's a cap of 3 a day, so that I don't go bonkers and just spiral out of control. What if I removed the cap and said, bring it? I dare you. Only once has an Algebra 1 class got 2 trays off me. Bring it. Bring it. Okay? What do they have in common? Quadruple 2. And how about variable town? 1x, 1y. So you got to smash that stuff together to find out what's outside. I have 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by x by y inside. First line has a 5 and an x. Second line has just a 3. Third line has a -1, a 2, and a y. So you just got to clean that up. What is 2 by 2 by 2 by 2? 16xy on the outside. Because it's a positive 3, right? Minus 2y. That's why we split that -1 off. So we always get our signs right. There you go. Hold on. Okay, so just like number 11 was pretty easy in terms, like I think we were wishing more of the test was like number 11. 12 is going to make up for it because it's a little more time intensive. Please, back here, don't be afraid to come along here and just kind of cross this stuff out so that you don't accidentally use it again. Honestly, the number of errors that I've seen some of us make on these as we're working, it's not what you wrote initially. It's because our writing was a little sloppy and it was just hard to read it. Okay? I'm not going to bag on someone about your handwriting. Okay? I wish teachers would just stop that. There is something called fine motor skills, and then particularly when you deal with different divergent neurotypes, it's common that people have bad handwriting. Like they correlate, okay? There's nothing wrong with it as long as we can read it, as long as you can read it. Might you have to slow down a little bit? Okay. But I have seen a lot of us make errors on this, not because of the math, but because our writing was a little too squished together and we missed something. Okay? Slow down, write it out. Try again. I do some, you do some. Reviewing the whole semester. Whoop. Miss LaCroix gave you these last week. This is what you would have done on Friday or Thursday when I was gone. This is where we're at right now. We're down here. Yep. Yeah.
For a negative? You would do that, right? The negative one.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
16. Okay.
Yep. That's how we keep those signs right. Yes, ma'am. 2 single AB. You're right about the one at the end. Don't smash all of this stuff together. Those are 2 separate lines, so they're 2 separate terms. So 6a squared.
Yeah, I can tell where I went wrong there.
Then, yep.
You never played one. You did it wrong.
So I'm doing this right?
Yeah, break them up.
Okay. So I'm just confused.
Hold up. Hold up. For this guy, before doing the 5 and the 2. Before doing the 5 and the 2, say -1 by 10. Then split the 10.
Okay.
Okay, so here call it a -1 with a +2.
So the other way around.
That way we'll always keep our signs right in our final answer.
Okay.
Okay.
So then I put.
4 times 4 makes 8.
Whoopsies.
And then break up 4. There you go. So now write them line by line.
So I do this one, this one, this one, and this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Only the ends of the branches. First, make sure you broke them up right. Watch those signs. Those last 2 terms got negatives with them. Okay, question for you. Can I take a 2 out or a -2? Okay. That first term does not have a negative with it, so don't go taking a -2 out, just a 2. So, how many A's? How many B's? Well, that got a little messy. Probably could have done that better. So you got a 2AB coming out. Nothing wrong with coming in there and make sure we don't accidentally use those again. 2 by 2 by 2. A. A cubed. Okay. 8a cubed. 8. Negative 1 by 5 is just, well, negative 5. Double A. B 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, this time it's easy to say there's a negative 1 at the end because I broke off my negative 1. Do you remember that if everything cancels, you need a 1 as a placeholder? Are you going to remember that on Friday? Write that note. If everything cancels, if everything cancels, 1 as placeholder. Like, you get to tell yourself how to do the test. That's how it should be. Okay. Y'all, I've been making my mom's recipe of lasagna for 20 years. I still need to grab the recipe card every single time because I screw up how long I'm supposed to put it in. I have the instructions. I can follow instructions, right? Do you have the instructions? As long as you have the instructions, you're still doing it. Have the support. Write notes to yourself. Tell yourself to watch out for things. Now here, I have a negative 1 left over, so it's pretty easy to remember there's a negative 1 left over. Might not be the case on the test. And I say might not be the case because I legitimately don't remember. Okay? Okay. Do we need to like stand up, shake it off? Like, are we doing all right? What?
The one that I printed still had 16.
Oh, you just cross out 16. Just cross out 16. That was some of the probability stuff that I said I wanted to get to. We just didn't because I think we had a snow day, right? So we lost a day somewhere in there. So don't worry about it. I mean, it's nice to know for those of you who are headed off to geometry, you'll take care of it there. We cool? Get it done? Okay. These. If I am given a x squared plus bx plus c, or I suppose all the ones that you've been dealing with don't have the a there. It's just a 1. If I got to this, I'm looking for what times what makes c, but those same numbers add up to b. That's how I factor this. That's how I undistribute. And to do that, do you know all the factors of 84 off the top of your head? But my multiplication chart does. My calculator does. Oh, we finally went through the whole stash. I printed 50 of them for 29 students. And they're gone? Ruh-roh. Did you put it in with one of your packets that you turned in? Because that sounds kind of familiar. No, that's all senior stuff. I got a Marcus packet, but it's chapter 3, so I don't think it's got that. Nope. I don't want to tell you, bud. Phone a friend, grab a calculator. Grab a calculator. Okay, so these all multiply to 84. So I'm going to list them out. Do the easiest of the easy right away. Start at 1 and work your way up. I know 1 times 84 makes 84. So what else does? Now, I don't want to say 84 times 1 and 1 times 84 because that's first name, last name, first name. Still the same person. These are double positives. Double positives make positive. Double negatives also do. Yes, sir. Change of signs. Okay, so we got 1s out of the way. Try 2. Grab a calculator. Just do 84 divided by 2. 2 by 42, which means it's evil twin. -2 with -42. Well, I want to keep going down the list here. No, you're right about 4 and 21. I want to keep going in order so that I make sure I've got all of them. Because 3 does go in here. 3 by 26. Is it 26 or 28? Okay. Okay, now you said 4 and 21. -4 and -21. Does 5 go in there? You already checked? Okay. 6 and 14. See how these numbers are getting closer and closer together? 7 and 12. Try 8. Try 9. Try 10. Try 11. And didn't we already say that? This is why I wanted to go in order. If I go 1, 2, 3, 7, skip it, 12, I'm now repeating myself. If I'm repeating myself, that means I found them all. Next to these, yeah, these all multiply to make 84, but what do they add up to? Well, that's 85 and -85. That's 44 and -44. 31 and -31. 25 and -25. 20 and -20. 19 and -19. What is the magic pair? Okay, I'm looking for what times what makes 84, but adds up to -19. Okay, -7, -12. Now, some of us got really good with this and just kind of finger tracking on a multiplication chart, where you wouldn't have to write out that entire list if all of your numbers were on your chart and you found the answer. What I would like you to have written regardless, though, is you should have this at a minimum for work. And then after that, there are some of us on our tests who found the right numbers. We wrote this, and then we moved on to the next problem. Please, oh please, remember to come back here and say this is x minus 7 and x minus 12. That's my answer. Okay? So you could, this was just my notes for how I'm doing it. This was writing out my numbers because maybe they weren't all on my chart. Hint, hint, everything above that line wasn't on your chart. That's a lot of options. But if you just have this, I'm cool with it. $36 is a lot more tame than 84. Yeah, the end of the course was some kind of heavy-hitting stuff. A lot of number sauce to get lost in. I'm exhausted, but I feel better. Baby Bear's not doing so good. We're up 3 times with him last night, and it's at the point now where basically anytime after 2 or 3 a.m. I'm sleeping in their room on the floor. If he lets me sleep. I'm his binky. I'm his security blanket. All right. We should have 1 with negative 36, negative 1 with positive 36. 2 with negative 18, negative 2 with positive 18. 3 with negative 12, negative 3 with positive 12. 4 with negative 9, negative 4 with positive 9. 6 with negative 6, and if I flip those, hey, look, I said the same thing again. There. Sums. Negative 35, positive 35. Negative 16, positive 16. Negative 9, positive 9. Negative 5, positive 5, 0.
That's a 40
Yeah, it is. No. Bad Frank. Yeah, now you'll group everything. There we go. So, who's my magic pair? Yeah. Okay, so 4 with -9 means I say x plus 4, x minus 9. Okay? The ones below this are special. Remember, we had special forms of factoring, where these are difference of squares. I was nice and didn't put the perfect square trinomials on here, because we already have our GCF practice problems before that. So our difference of squares, it's just got everything. Just put it with your chapter 4 stuff, because I'll start there. These ones were easy peasy. Oh, hey, look, 49 and 144, those are special. They're perfect squares. And since it's a difference of squares, I know these are going to be plus minus pairs. I just square root this stuff, getting 7x. And I square root that stuff, getting 12. What you gotta double check. Do 7 and 12 have anything in common? So here's what I mean. Like if this was 64x squared minus 144, then it would become 8x minus plus 12, 8x minus 12. Do 8 and 12 have something in common? They got a 4, right? So I would take a 4 out of this guy and a 4 out of this guy, so a pair of them. This divided by 4 is 2x. This divided by 4 is 3. I'd have to write this as 16 out front. It's either that or I'm going to have to do the GCF business before I start. Okay? So you got to be careful if there's still something that can come out of the factors. In this case, it's 7 and 12, so you're just done. Okay?
Wait. Sorry.
Okay, go. Yism. Ka-chow. Yeah, yeah, just like you did the square to this guy was x and an x. Square to that guy's a y and a y. Yes, sir. Yo. This is a classroom, not. This ain't Grubhub, dude. What? Look at Captain Popular over here, like, hey, have like 5 cupcakes out of nowhere. Are they cupcakes or are they cornbread? Okay. You got to flip your hair. You're like, I'm kind of a big deal. Okay, everyone seemed to be good on this. Plus minus pairs, because it's different as squares. Square root of this guy, if we have no problem putting 5 and an x in these spots, we should have no problem putting what in the other spots? 6 and a y. 6y. Double check. Do 5 and 6 have something in common? Like a common factor that goes into both? No. Okay, you got to double check that, just in case. Cool, and then we gave you the launch codes. Quadratic formula. If you notice, a couple weeks ago, I took down all the things around my room, and I did have quadratic formula up there. So you better write it down if you don't have it. X is negative b plus minus if I am given ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Okay, this is the one that takes care of every quadratic you can think of. Okay, about all right now, you can ask nicely. Okay. A, I get it. Noises like nails on chalkboard. I get it. Okay. Come on now, table manners. Okay. So first up, do I have junk equal to 0 like I'm supposed to? Okay. Then, can you tell me what A, B, and C are? Chop up your terms. Y'all on those tests, there's a good number of us that got this wrong, not because we did the process wrong, because we missed a negative. Okay? Chop up your terms, identify what A, B, and C are. I got A is 2, B is 12, C is 10. We're going to rewrite the formula with a bunch of parentheses everywhere. X is negative parenthesis plus minus parenthesis squared minus 4 parenthesis parenthesis. Over 2 by parenthesis. Okay? Like this it is overkill for a lot of quadratic solving. But if you're going to business math after this, if you're heading on to geometry and you run into quadratics, you go take an acuplacer, something like that, this got you covered. Okay? It might be overkill. It might be using a sledgehammer to hang pictures, but it'll get the job done. Okay? Do we know who goes where? First parenthesis. 12. Second parenthesis. 12. Third parenthesis. Fourth parenthesis. Fifth parenthesis. Cool. And then in those regions, I am able to do this in one shot, I can do this in one shot. And I can do this in one shot because they're all separated by operators. The plus and minus, the square root, the big division bar. They're separated into those areas so they act like parentheses. A negative 12 is just negative 12. Plus minus. You can take care of that square root business in one shot in a calculator if you want. Or you can do a little scribbling off to the side. That's 144. 12 squared is 144. Minus 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 10 is, what's 144 minus 80? It's the best game system ever made, sir. 64. That's not true. I'm just being like old man right now. Hey, the graphics on a PS5 are just unfreaking believable. 2 by 2 is 4. So, what is the square root of 64? What if it wasn't nice? What if that was like 61? Then what would I do? You just write your decimal. That's fine. Now remember, this plus or minus means I'm splitting. I've got negative 12 plus 8 over 4 and negative 12 minus 8 over 4. What is negative 12 plus 8? Close. Negative 4. Negative 12 minus 8. You owe me $12. I'm dumb enough to let you borrow 8 more. Negative 20. Divide them out. Negative 4 divided by 4. Sometimes these are going to be decimals, sometimes they're going to be fractions. In this case, they both come out clean. A negative 1 and a negative 5 as my answers. So what I'm going to do is, yeah, I know, I still got to go over there and write them. You're not going to miss those. Chill. Bunch of extortionists over here. Oh, I was trying to keep this. Okay. I'm just going to try to slide this over here. Yeah! Go do the other one. I like that. I'm seeing more of us chop them up. When we were doing this lesson, we're a little hesitant to do that. But I think more of us are seeing, oh, that chop it up thing really does help me with my negatives. You didn't use parentheses, my dear.
Oh, right. My bad.
No. All the way back up here. This gets you this. This gets you positive 144. Remember, it's a negative 12 by a negative 12. Should be positive there. Okay, A, B. Okay, do we or do we not? 12 plus minus, what's that? 144, 28, 56, 112, 36, 32? Oh, there's a double negative there. Okay. Yep. All right. Friday is game on. See, now I just got to finish it. Like, I have to. Pretty much everyone's gone, but I don't care. I have to finish. I have to finish.